But if you ask a lot of partners who have discovered betrayal, they would tell you that the label and the concept of codependence does not fit them. And then what happens is, and I'm telling you, it happens all the time, they walk into a therapist's office and the only template that therapist has to help them is, we've got to deal with your codependence. If he was doing that, what were you doing? They walk in and on the first appointment, when they've just found out that their, lifetime love was betraying them for 30 years, in that first appointment, a therapist wants to talk about your father when you were a kid, which induces something called treatment-induced trauma. It's a re-victimization, exactly. And so we have to have more than one tool in our toolbox, right? If all I've got is a hammer, I got to treat everything like a nail. But that's not the reality of the world. And so I want to, if you haven't thought about it, give you another lens through which to consider the experience of betrayal in a marriage, and that is through the lens of betrayal trauma rather than a system issue in which one person is feeding into and enabling the problem. That's not always true. So I come out of the recovery world. I know that's not everyone's background or whatever, but this was my evolution in thinking about this stuff. In the traditional model of addiction recovery, we talk about co-addicts and codependents, right? Now, this comes from AA, and what I always say, and I've got it on this slide here, we are indebted to those who've gone before us, okay? We are standing on their shoulders. This isn't about bashing anyone for what they thought before, because we wouldn't be here if they hadn't paved the way up to this point, right? Patrick Carnes in particular, he realized sexual addiction is a real thing. It's now in the ICD with the World Health Organization. It will be, I guarantee you, I'll take money if anyone wants to bet, and when the DSM-6 comes out, there will be something like sex addiction in it. The evidence is just coming at us faster than we can even digest it all. So he took the 12-step model of AA, Patrick Carnes took that, and he applied it to those folks who are struggling with compulsive, problematic sexual behavior. And by taking from that model, the partners of addicts were conceptualized as being co-addicts or co-dependents. All right, and there was 3 to 5 years of work for them to do. Now, a lot of people in this field have come a long way, and they now understand partner trauma, but that is because of the partner trauma model that really wasn't introduced until the mid-2000s. A woman named Barbara Steffens, anyone ever heard of Barbara Steffens? Okay, Barbara Steffens, who co-wrote a book called Your Sexually Addicted Spouse in 2007, I think it was released, right around there. Her PhD dissertation looked at the experience of women who had discovered betrayal, talked to them, interviewed them, looking at how they had been treated by therapists, what their symptoms were. And what she found was that all those symptoms that people were framing as codependency could also be looked at as symptoms of trauma.